how to paper around a corner using a single length of paper, and I mean that by splitting the length of paper going around the corner. And I couldn't have picked a harder corner to do because there's a conduit runs up, so you are going to get this on jobs. So what I've done so far is I've plumbed a line going up the wall, because I'm going to put a full piece on here first, and then I'm going to show you the next piece and how to split it coming round the pipe, and then how to keep your paper plumb on the next wall. So this is the paper that I'm going to use. This is a German paper, genuine flock wall covering. It says it's like velvet, that bit there. So it's a drop pattern, and it's also a paste the wall, but I'm actually going to paste the paper because I prefer that method. So once you've opened your paper facing up, just have a quick look over it for any damage, and then you want to choose where you're going to cut the pattern for the ceiling line. On this, I don't want to be cutting through a flower if I can help it, so there's a clear spot coming through here, and it looks like the repeats is down on here and there, so I'm going to treat that as my ceiling line where I want it. I'm just going to mark that as the top. Now I've already measured the length that I need, and it's 7 foot 4 inches. So then roll your paper out, and I've got a 6 foot mark just there. So return it on the 6 foot mark. And taking your tape measure, I want to measure another 4 foot, sorry, 1 foot 4 inches. And sometimes if you're doing a full room, you'll actually work 2 rolls together, so the next length I'd do would be off another roll. But because this is just a demonstration, I'm going to use the same roll. Now, what you need to do is find out where your paper matches, and that's my match just there. So it's actually not at the top, so what I'm going to have to do is go further down. Fair bit of waste on that. That's why working 2 rolls together, you get less waste. 3 lengths. This next length is going to be the same as the first length, so just pull that across there. So working off the first length, again, it's not right at the top, so I lost that. to the top, going all over, and working off the first piece, making sure they're all in line. And cut the tops off. Mark the other tops. And then what you want to do is fold it back on itself, roll it up on the other way. Gently press down on it. And it just takes out the spring of the paper. That's not too bad. Keeping them in the centre of your bench. I'm going to paste the first length. Because this is paste the wall first paper, and I'm actually pasting the paper, what you do is just paste it straight away. No soaking time, and you put it straight on the wall. You always want to make sure you put plenty of paste on. It's actually a bit difficult to move around this paper with it being a flock. It's sticking together slightly. Fold it halfway, making sure there's no paste on the front of it. That's ready to go up. So like I said, I've already put a plumb line down here. Just following your plumb line down first of all. Make sure you've got enough overlap at the top. And using your paper hanging brush, spread it out from side to side. And then across the top on the picture rail, I'm going to use the back of my scissors to mark the paper. That's marked it quite well, that has. I'm actually following the line on the back of the paper because it's quite easy to see. And straight away I'm going to wipe off the paste on the picture rail. Just double check your plumb line. And then finishing off the bottom, just release your paper. Making sure you're following your plumb line down. If you're not on it, you can always slightly adjust your paper. And then again at the bottom, using the back of my scissors, I'm just going to pull it across in the corner. That's marked it quite well. So. Wipe the paste off the skirting board. If you've got any paste on the edge, just wipe that off as well. So that's the first piece up now. I'm not going to show you pasting anymore. What I am going to show you is how to cut the paper around this corner. So this is the second piece, ready to go up. I've pasted it. And over here now, what you need to make sure is the piece on the bench, you're cutting off the correct side. So when we come to this on the bench, and this is the top of the paper, this is the side we want to be cutting off, which is the correct side for up here. So, taking the tape measure, what you want to do is now measure from the paper into the corner, and you want to find the deepest part. So it's just under 9 inches. So that's actually not too bad, that's quite straight, that conduit. So what I'm going to do is just allow for 1/8 of paper to return onto the conduit. So taking a measurement of 9 inches on your tape measure and taking your pencil, get your paper on the edge of the bench, and then on your 9 inches on the edge of the paper, with your finger running on the back on the bench, pencil at the end of your tape measure, just draw that down the paper. Now, when you cut this, you want to make sure you cut the pencil line off. Sorry, you want to make sure you leave the pencil line on the paper you're cutting. so it's hidden on the next piece of paper when it overlaps. Now when I was cutting that, the bottom of my scissors stays on the bench. More control over the cut. Now I'm ready to put this straight up. Always check your match in the middle of your paper. It's not too bad. And then spread the paper out from side to side, going into that corner. Now, all I've got to do is trim the top off and trim the bottom off, and I'll show you the next bit going on. So that piece is up now, and what you want to do is take the tape measure and measure in from in the corner, going around the conduit to the other corner, and actually measuring out 1/8 again, so you've got a little bit of an overlap. It should be more or less the same all the way up. It drops out. But, do that at 3 inches. 1/4. So coming back to your bench, taking your piece of paper, same piece and the same way, put that line back on the bench. You want to then cut off 3 inches and 1/4. Now, what I'm hoping to do is not doing any cutting off on this inside edge, and just wrap the paper around to here. As long as your next piece is plumb, this little bit here, you'll have to deal with that on how plumb you get it. So again, making sure you cut the pencil line off. Straight up with that. Now what you want to try and do is find your match up this side. See where it sits best. It's not too bad. Now once you're quite satisfied with that, the cat's going a bit crazy, make a cut in the top to where you're going to actually trim it off to relieve the corner when you bend it round. And then slowly work it down. Now, this paper, actually paper, because it's a paste wallpaper, so it's not as malleable as normal paper, so sometimes it can make this a lot more difficult. Let me just sort the cat out. I think that's what the cat wants, so let me go and sort her out. That's the cat sorted. Right, back to this. Now, like I was saying, it's not normal paper this, so it's not as malleable as normal paper. It can be difficult at times to get it sat right. So I'm going to cut the bottom here first, because it's a pipe. There's a bit missing at the bottom. Now, make sure I've got a bit of a new turn. So, what this is going to need is some overlap adhesive on this side. So, I'm going to just let that drop back, but I'm going to keep it in place on this side. Now, because I want it to stick very well, I'm actually going to wipe off the paste down the back. And then using your overlap adhesive, you want to get some on the paper, on the back of the paper. Stuff like this, it's not easy. Now, I'm going to put it on all the way before I try and stick it back. There's no point in doing half of it and then trying to peel it off again and do the other bottom. Get it all done in one. Right. I'm just going to rinse my cloth. So we're going to snap it back at the top, start sticking it back round. Honestly, this flock, it's not easy because there's a lot of red coming off it, to be honest. So I think even using a sponge, no matter what you use to do this, you're going to have problems. Sometimes it just doesn't want to stick. Sometimes. It's not too bad, because what you can do when it's acting a bit of a pain and it's not wanting to stick first time is, as long as it's generally stuck in certain places, you can keep coming back to it and sticking it back. But what I'll do is I'll just show you that corner now where the pattern is going up. It's done pretty well. So the next piece, which is still on the bench, you need to take a measurement of what's left, and then on the wall you need to mark your measurement out in several places down the wall and plumb your line down to make sure you've got enough paper to come onto this overlap. Just have a look up that corner there. It's matched pretty well, that has. So I've plumbed the line down here, and with my last piece, what you need to do is try and have the pattern where you want it, but you've also got to follow the plumb line down, because if you don't, all your lengths going down the wall will all be skew width if you try and just follow the conduit if it's out. So you've always got to make sure you're on that plumb line and see where your pattern is. And to be honest, that's not too bad. Further down. So I'm happy where the pattern is there now. But what I'm going to do first of all is spread the paper out and then cut the top and bottom. So all I've got to do now, paper keeps springing off that pipe box. Again, never easy to get the paper to stick on those, but throughout the day you keep coming back to it and you eventually stick. Right, so all I've got to do now is a little bit of trimming off in the corner. So it's okay here, there's just a little bit at the bottom, which I'll do now. I'm going to use my pencil to mark it on that side. And again, make sure you cut your pencil line off. You're always going to have some trimming to do, because corners, they're never straight at all whatsoever, especially if you're going around a conduit like this. So just a little bit of trimming there at the top. And then you need a little bit more overlap adhesive in the corner to make sure the edges stick. And while I've got the paper peeled back there, I'll put some overlap adhesive on there. These are just run it up on the inside on the other wall in the corner. So that just needs any paste wiping back, fixing these little bits that are sticking up. The main reason you plumb these slime is so you keep this piece straight, so the next lens that go on down the wall are nice and vertical. Because the last thing you want is your wallpaper looking cockeyed. That's the worst thing ever. So I'll finish trimming this off now, and you can have a look at the finished corner. It's all finished. That was not easy at all. Flock wallpaper, very hard to put up. Again, you'd have no chance with a spatula on it. So I'll show you closer into that corner in a minute. That's done pretty well, that. So that's how you paper around a corner with a conduit.